It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm going to be taking a look at Pyramids here, which is a fairly simple card game in which you're going to be drafting those cards and then turning around and using them to construct several structures in your Necropolis, trying to get the most points at the end of the game. I tend to like this theme. Definitely the artwork on this one I found inspiring, and then I liked the concept of the way these same cards were used to build a couple of different things. The cards themselves are also very attractive, very colorful, and so I had high hopes for this one. Is the game any good? Let's find out. Let me give you an overview, and then I'll tell you my thoughts right after that. The game's going to be played over 10 rounds. The players building 3 different things. They're going to be building their own pyramid, they're going to be building an obelisk, and they're going to be building their tombs. And at the end of those 10 rounds, then we are going to score using the sheets here. Each one will score differently. Highest total, of course, will be the winner. You are going to be drafting these cards by using these tiles, which I'll explain in 1 second, and then you will use them to build. And so, just the general idea is pyramid will be, the pyramids will be built like this. You're going to have a base of 4 cards across the bottom, then 3 above that between them like so, then 2, then 1 at the very top. Every round you will build one of these. Everyone's going to build one, and so at the end of the 10 rounds, you will have the fully completed pyramid. The obelisk is built up of a single stack of cards like this. And so at the end of the game, you'll have just a single column of cards, and they'll be varying heights depending on how often you did that. And then finally, the tomb is simply you take the card, you put it face down aside and denote that as your tombs, and that's it. At the end, you'll get points for that. The different ways in which things score in the pyramid, you want the colors to make large groups, connecting groups. And so in this case, I have a group of 3 in red there. A whole stone still counts as one, whether it's the skinny long one or the full square. And you're going to score every single color. And so here I would get 3 for red, 1 for blue because they're not touching, 1 for white because they're not touching, and so on. You're going to get also some bonus points for that. The obelisk, you want the same color to show up as often as possible. And so you figure out what your highest number repeating color is. In this case, red or blue works. They're all 3 on all 3 levels here. And you're going to get points for that, as denoted right here. And so if I had 3 colors, I would get 6 points. You can get all the way up to 5 or better, and that gets you 15 points. So, 5 times, something like that's 4, and that would be 5 in red. And then finally, the tombs, you would just have cards face down in the tombs, and you compare every color to see who's got the most of that color, and whoever does gets a 5-point bonus. So most red, okay, that's you, 5 points. Most green, okay, that's me, I get the 5 points for green, and so on. There's also one little thing, which is the glyphs that show up on some cards. They show you the 3 different symbols, so you're going to have the obelisk symbol, the tombs symbol, and then the pyramid symbol as well. I don't have one here. And that, if it's in the right place at the end of the game, if you built it in the correct place, you get a bonus 2 points for that. So, having understood how the scoring pretty much works, let me show you how the game goes. We're going to do a game with 3 players for now. So you would remove the 5 tile here. Someone gets the starting player token, and then we go to the first round, in which we are going to put out groupings of 2 cards. And we give someone the start player token, and you begin. You are going to, first of all, draft these tiles, which denote 2 things: how early you get to pick the pair you want, and where you can build. And so earlier is, of course, lets you pick faster. If I take the number 1, I can pick whichever one of these trios I want. But I'm only going to build in the pyramid. And the other card I'm just going to hang on to. If I pick something later, like the 4, for example, it lets me build in all 3 of those places. I will build in the pyramid, I have to, But I may build on the obelisk, and I may build on the tombs. And the number 2 is pyramid and tombs. Number 3, pyramid and obelisk. And so let's say I take this one, the next player takes this one, and the next player takes this one. This one just gets put aside for now. And then I will pick first because I got the number 1. Let's say I take this. I'm going to build, this goes in the pyramid, and this one I have to hang on to because I took the number 1. I can't build the other one anywhere. Okay, then the number 3 gets to pick over here. And they'll take this one. And they're going to build this in the pyramid and this in the obelisk, which for now just looks the same, but obviously it will build up. And then the number 4 over here takes theirs. They'll build pyramid, and they can build this one anywhere they want to, or they could hang on to it, but they can build in either one of the 2 places because they got the 4. And don't forget, if they're carrying a card over from before, they could build the pyramid, the obelisk, and the tombs. They could do it all with the number 4. So once that's done, and they'll put this, I don't know, the obelisk, then we rotate star player, we put all these back in the middle, and we are going to do it again. That's pretty much it. Very simple flow to the whole thing. We are going to put out, new pairs of cards, like so. We are going to allow the star player to pick their position. Everybody drafts these. Then we take groups. You take them, you use them immediately. Then the next player takes, uses, and so on until at the end of the game, you are going to have your full pyramid, some obelisk probably, and some cards in the tomb probably. You figure out all your scoring, as I've already shown you here. You figure out pyramid, connections of colors, your obelisk, the cards in the tombs, then down here the glyphs, 2 points apiece. Figure out your total. Highest total is the winner in the game. And so that's pretty much it for the game. This is a very clever game. At first, it comes across as a very simple, straightforward, easy to play game. And it is all those things. That is true. But there's a nice amount of subtlety here and tactics and varying paths to victory. Now, it's not overwhelmingly so. There are not 10 different ways you can win in this game. But you can focus on a few different things, go stronger in this, back off on that, and depending on what everybody else is doing around the table, you can pull out a win that way. But it is a subtle, there's a subtle magic to it here, one of the games I played, and on first reading and looking at how the game worked, I thought, tombs seem really overpowered here. 5 points for every color I control, I'm going to throw cards in there. And so, if one of the first times I played, I did just that, and it happened that it was a 2-player game, and my opponent let me. And I lost by 1 point at the end of that game. And so the scoring, that's another thing, really tight scoring. But everything is balanced. It's a well-oiled machine, this game. And the more you play, the more it's going to open up a little bit and give you a look under the hood, so to speak, at how those different scoring opportunities do balance out. You have to see what's happening around the table and find sort of where you fit that you can be a little riskier, take a later tile, which lets you build more, and still figure out, okay, I think I'm still going to get the pair I want. And if not, draft earlier. And that's a nice mechanism too. It's that push and pull. Go early, but do less. Go later, do more, but you're at the mercy of whatever's left. Really like that too. This is a truly solid little game. It's small, it's attractive, works really well. I think there's a lot of replayability here, and I like that a lot. It's one of the things I was a little bit concerned about, honestly, seeing how simple everything is. The seemingly simple scoring, which it's not. There's actually quite a bit to scoring. I didn't go over all of it, but there's a good amount there. And so I was worried about that at first, the replayability. This I think will go the distance. It's a nice filler that I think will be something I keep coming back to. And so I recommend it. Colorful, neat ideas here. It uses that theme well, which is another possible trap. This theme could be pasted onto something and kind of not really add anything. but it works in this one, you know, and so I like it. I don't want to say that it's revolutionary. I don't want it to seem like, this breaks the mold or anything. I've seen these kinds of mechanisms before, but it utilizes things we've seen and makes a very lean game. It's a game that has nothing extra. There is no part here you could cut away. It's like they got to some point where they had all these things and then started stripping away mechanisms and concepts until what they had left was this. And for that, I say kudos to the designers. And so I'm going to give this one a seal of excellence. That is Pyramids. I would recommend you check it out if you're looking for a nice, interesting, highly tactical, and subtle family weight game.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.